4 months ago, she's on the Math Hoffa show, and Math Hoffa, which I thought, was a kind of crazy question, but hey, she's like she said, she's grown, you know what I'm saying? She's of age. I don't think they're grown sometimes, but anyways, all right. But he asked her, hey, when did you lose your virginity? She said 14. And now first, right? I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, right? So I'm like, so here you are condemning me for saying what I'm saying, which is grown folks conversation, which I never mentioned you, which really you shouldn't even really involve yourself, because this was the conversation that I'm having. But since you did involve yourself, is what you do, all right? How can you say that when you just said that you lost your virginity at 14? So is the guy that you lost your virginity at 14 with, is he a pedophile? Comment about the arc.
All right, so two things. I think that tying those two things together is a wild conversation, especially for your daughter. I ain't see that her father interview with Coi Leray. I didn't know that that's where it came from, or that's what he said. That is a crazy conversation to ask a young lady when she lost her virginity. But even as a dad, to me, that kind of like, you didn't know that. You kind of just like, that's one of them things where it's like, I know we be like, oh, everybody don't post what they got going on in their real life on social media, but that kind of show, the way you showed up on social media as a non-dad and the way she kind of standing firm on that, for you not to know that information, that kind of weighs the flag that you ain't really a dad.
But it just even say it's wild, because that whole, I don't even think nobody even, the conversation he had about R. Kelly, somebody asked her about it, right?
No, she came out the rip and said, no. That video started to go viral, and she tweeted out like, don't mention me with him no more. Like, I'm cool on him.
I thought somebody might have interviewed her.
No. She took it to Twitter.
Okay.
She on Twitter. When that video started to go viral, when he said whatever he said about R. Kelly, she literally tweeted out on her page, I'm cool on him. Don't mention me with him. He gave me birth, but that ain't my father. I don't want no affiliations with him.
That's fair to say, because your opinions and what you say and how your belief don't attach that to me.
Yeah, of course. Because it can trickle down for sure.
But for him to even bring that up, even to recite whatever she said on the Matt Hoffa joint, to say, oh, well, damn, you lost your virginity at 14. What about that? Like, I don't get it. Like, how you even compare? How can you even compare the two people?
Yeah, I don't know how you compare the two things. And again, to me, the biggest thing I took out of that, one, I don't know how you compare that, and I don't even know why you repeated it. Because let's be clear, people watch Mad Hoffa, but I feel like it's not a big enough jump for you to repeat it. And now you're making this a trending topic, because I know for a fact, all the blogs is picking it up, and all the blogs ain't pick up hers on Mad Hoffa saying I lost my virginity at 14. So it's like, bro, why you don't want people? And I agree with him. Only thing I agree with him, what he said is, I don't think age makes you an adult. I think experience makes you adult. And I think the harder your life is, the more of an adult you are. Because if you don't have certain life experiences, I feel like,
I agree with you to a certain extent when you say that, but then it's just like, you still have a kid mentality. You might have been, I was cooking and cleaning the house. I was taking care of the house at 11.
Yeah, but that still don't make you an adult.
That don't make you adult. But you saying my experience. I experienced being an adult. I experienced raising. I had to raise my siblings and stuff like that.
Okay, so now that's different. Now you're throwing in a different scenario. Now you're adding on stuff. So now you sit here taking care of other kids. Now that do kind of make you an adult. So if you sit here and say, hey, I'm 15 and my parent left me in the house to sit here, and I had to make sure my little brothers and sisters' homework was done. I had to wash them up, and I had to cook dinner for them every day because my parent worked overnight or whatever the case may be. Now that makes you an adult. Now, I thought you were just saying,
but
like,
you might have it. I mean, but that just give you more experience, but I still don't qualify you as an adult.
Yeah, just not by age yet. But if you sit here saying you think about how many people, like, let's just say even somebody for me, I know how to, because of course, even as a kid, our first jobs was working at daycare. So I would know how to raise a kid, because literally for 4 years, that's what we did every summer, working at daycares, goddamn watching kids. But what I'm just still saying is, like, I do feel like that experience do kind of push you over from a kid who don't have that experience at all. Like, just because, let's say if I'm 19 and I'm super green, or I'm even 21, I'm super green, all I had to do is just go to college. I ain't had to pay for college. I ain't had to work no job. I just literally just went to school, graduated from college. But a kid who, let's say, grew up harder, didn't go to college, but they didn't sit here and raise 3 of their siblings, but they just graduated from high school, then had to work a job every summer and had to do like real adult stuff. That 18-year-old that had that situation compared to that 21-year-old, that 18-year-old is realistically more of an adult than that 21-year-old. Because ain't nothing separating them but age. Because you as a 21-year-old with no responsibilities and just went to school, all you've been doing is fun and going to school.
Right, but then okay, you still know how to talk to people. So if I sit you down and you need to do an interview, the person who probably went to school probably more educated and learned more and know how to speak to people, you're going to easily get that job than somebody who, I did help my kid.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but you that's two different things. Like you talking about somebody,
but you still putting experience in there too, because that's like you taking experience away from you. You didn't have a chance to go to school. You had to raise your kids, so you didn't experience the how to do this and how to do that. That's still taken away from you. That's an experience that you didn't get.
Just because you go to school don't mean that you are educated or you're experiencing something, though.
But that's what
person that has those life experiences could probably kill an interview because they had to be so mature at a young age, as opposed to somebody that didn't have to do with that.
But that's what I'm saying. When you discredit somebody, you saying because whatever it was set up for you did what you had to do to get that stuff done. You still experience stuff. You didn't experience, making, food and taking care. I didn't have no siblings. I was the only child. So they was able for me to send me through college, or they was able to.
But it's still experience though. It's just a perfect example. Like even if you tie back into sports, it's a difference between, and you know this it's a difference between playing for, I'm gonna take it real DMV. So I apologize for people, but it's a difference between playing rec ball and playing Boys and Girls Club. So it's the difference between playing for Kettering and when you play for Peppermill. When you play for, and that's the difference. You can't even tie that into the WNBA if you want. When you play for Peppermill, that rec ball type of shit, that shit was way more physical than. And we growing up, we know the difference. And you laugh at like, oh, these soft ass Kettering niggas, like they play basketball super soft. But when you play you going to Peppermill, you going to Landover, you going to Sea Pleasant, you going to all of these, going to the hood to play basketball. Them gyms was the hood. The people in the crowd was the hood. That level and intensity of basketball is a complete different experience from the kid who literally just played in Boys and Girls Club in a super soft ass area where you was like, oh, it was Kettering versus Bowie. And I'm talking about this was Kettering and Bowie before y'all done migrated y'all goddamn ghetto ass kids to Kettering and Bowie. When it was like you was playing against little Billy at Bowie. From playing in Sea Pleasant and you might be playing Kevin Durant. It's a huge goddamn difference. So that we talking about that's experience, that's basketball experience from rec ball and goddamn Boys and Girls Club. It's a huge, for a fact, it's a different level of physicality for them goddamn rec kids and them goddamn Boys and Girls Club. So that's the same thing where it's like, yeah, you could have went to college and went to school. You never had to thought knowing how to pay bills and never paying bills is a complete, I know for a fact I can even make it a difference life experience when you really learn life. It's a difference between here saying, okay, yeah, I pay bills in a house with my parents, but it's a difference between here saying, oh, when you move out on your own, it ain't about how much your rent is or how much the electricity is. The shit that really be adding up is the shit that you probably never had to pay for when you was in the house with your parents. When you got to get tissue, you got to get toilet paper, you got to get these paints and plans. Like those are the things, or how often you got to go back and get toilet paper. And you'll be like, damn, this shit kind of be adding up. You don't realize. And that's why when we talk about the Target and Walmart prices, guess what? A kid would never be able to have that conversation. But adults can have that conversation because guess what? You looking at prices because you know the difference between, hey, I pay for this at Walmart, I pay this at Target. When we talk about grocery stores, we know the difference because guess what you're doing? You're paying for it now. But when you was a kid, you don't think about it. Because guess what? Let's ask a kid. You like Target or Walmart? Every kid gonna say Target over Walmart. But as adults, we gonna have we already did it. We had it 2 weeks ago. We had a real live dialogue about Target and Walmart and their pricing, but that's not a conversation that you can have with a kid. Because the kid gonna be like, oh, the Target just got a better goddamn toy selection. Like Walmart Joe so far in the cut, and I don't even know if Walmart got a damn toy section. That's how far off it is. I know they do, but realistically, you talking about in the store, that's how far off it is. But Target Joan is lit up like a guy. You know where that goddamn, everybody who got kids, you know for a fact where that goddamn, the kids know where that goddamn toy section is.
Well, you could tie back to a job. You could have somebody that went to school 5, 6, 7 years for a job that's coming in telling you how to do your job. And they've never experienced anything that you experienced. So how are you just going to school want to come and tell me, okay, this is how it should be done if you haven't experienced it yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, that's why I go with the experience. I don't think age makes you an adult. And I think that's why a lot of people, even when we talk, tie back into like the Jalen Green and Drea, shout out to Drea, that after body, Jesus Christ, that baby did her instant work. I'm not even mad at her for hurry up and running. Now I can question like, damn, where is that baby at? Because she didn't definitely drop that baby and been on the beach taking fire pictures for a brick. But that's all over the place. But again, that's why so many people, when we were talking about them, so many people use and brought up the conversation on, oh, he's just a kid. Because sometimes realistically, That age don't make you an adult, bro. Life experiences make you an adult. And again, when I say the harder your life was, the more you are like, when you talk about wise, when people be like, oh, gray hairs just show you how wise, because that them life experiences, that stress that brought them grays in, that's from life, dog. Life. And people, we use that shit all the time on social media. And you only see, you'll never see a kid be like, oh, life just life. But no, as an adult, every adult know what that means when people be like, oh, nah, life just life. And you know that's just some miscellaneous stuff that happened. You got to pay for something that you wasn't planning to pay for. You got a flat tire that you wasn't planning for, or whatever the case may be, and it threw your day off, or something. It's something happened to you just in the course of life to make you be like, nah, bro, life just life in the day. And you having those moments, and even going back to what I was saying here, saying where it's like, as a black person in America, it's hard for me to sit here and have crazy tears and moments about what's going on in other countries, because bro, life be life and extremely a lot here in America for me and people that I have every day-to-day conversations with. So that's my point of when I'm saying he's saying, like, I hear what he like, I get what he said when he was like, yeah, she an adult kinda. And you can tell, if we being honest, like if we just judging Coi Leray off of social media, bro, she acts the most kiddyish out of all the girl rappers. Like, bro, she just come off like a kid. We talk about that when we talk about her music. This shit just sound kiddie as hell. And that's probably realistically because that go off of life experiences. A grown woman gonna sound like a grown, and that's even still one of people like that. Some people was kind of like okay with Nicki, like when she kind of like dibbled and dabbled, but that was like one of her biggest critiques of like, bro, nobody don't know nothing about your life for real. Like, what's your real life experiences? That was one of people's biggest critiques to Nicki Minaj her whole career. Like, what have you actually been through as a human? Like, give me some relatable stuff. And that's why people love Mary J. Blige, because she can sit here. I can give you my life experiences. Hey, this is my life. This has happened in my life. This what makes me relatable. This what I done had so many hard times. And it's all, me and Top talked about this before. I always tell, and I didn't know this, and I always wish I knew this when I was actually into managing, but these was conversations we had later on when we always used to talk about Boosie. And he was like, bro, it's more broke people going through hard times. And that's why Boosie music will always be more relatable than somebody like Travis Porter. Has Boosie ever had a song big as Make It Rain? Probably, you might be able to say maybe Wipe Me Down, but probably not. If we looked on Billboard charts or whatever case, I'm sure Make It Rain is a bigger song. But realistically, who still do more shows right now? Boosie, then you ain't think about Travis Porter. When the last time you even thought about Travis Porter? So it just be certain things where it's like, and now the reason why I brought those two things in, because Travis Porter is fun. It's just yeah, make it rain, make it rain. But then you some of them life experiences and in rough times, the older you get, you understand rough times. And that's why even the parents, that's why you look at your kids like, damn, how y'all like Rod Wave? You don't know nothing. We don't know. Well, of course, like when y'all talked about it a couple of weeks ago and y'all was just like, well, we don't know what our kids do when we at work or whatever case may be, or they close their doors. That's the reason why so many parents be kind of like lost on, damn, why do my kid like Rod Wave so much? Because in your mind is like, nah, this music is more relatable to me, but I pay bills. I've been behind on bills, or my heart been broken, or whatever the case may be. And you kind of always wonder like, damn, how can my kid relate to this? Because you shouldn't have went through any of these things.
But their stress is not the same as our stress too.
It's not to say they don't have stress.
Yeah.
And you have to validate their stress. It might seem like, oh my God, like really? But to them, that's stress for them.
Yeah, so I mean,
and since you was talking about life experience, so how do you feel about that? The Meek 5 a.m.
Oh my God, he smoked that jump.
But that's the